Everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Breaking the Mould. So the last couple of episodes have been season reviews of Season 4 and Season 5. I took the decision to do the end of the series in this way because the whole setup of this was to take over a club and to break the domination in Germany, take Bayern Munich off the top spot and become a new sort of dominating force in the domestic leagues of that country. Words are escaping me today. So after 3 seasons, we'd won the Bundesliga title 3 times, we'd won the Pokal Cup twice, we'd won the Super Cup twice. It seemed like we were just repeating ourselves over and over again. So I did Season 4 as a review, and again we won the Bundesliga, we won the Super Cup, etc, etc. Season 5 was a little bit disappointing. We did still manage to win the Bundesliga, even having a worse season in charge of the club, but everything else sort of escaped us. So what I've decided to do, and it's an idea I was given by a guy on Twitter called Oblique Kit Gaming. He's also on YouTube. Go and check him out. He makes some quality Football Manager content as well. He pointed out people don't tend to, when they finish a series, they never come back to it. Nobody builds a save and a club to stay sustainable after you've left. So that got me to thinking, if the idea of breaking the mould was to break the domination of Bayern Munich and start a new era of domination for the club that we took over, which was of course Leipzig, then surely the ultimate proof of that is if we leave and someone else takes over, they should really carry on winning things. So what I've done is I've gone 5 years into the future. Let's see if Leipzig carried on winning things, shall we? So here we are as a resigned manager. I didn't retire completely because I just wanted to fast forward 5 years. I didn't want, if you retire, you've got to add a new manager to check everything. So I've just kept me resigned guy going, and then gone forward. As you can see, it's now the 1st of May 2029, and let's have a look at Bundesliga. Leipzig, they are currently top of the Bundesliga. How does it stand? They've won it. That's a good start. I think the first thing I want to have a look at is the transfer history. Right, so this was the transfer history of our last season in charge. You can see I had just brought in a couple of young players. A few left. Miura, Bellingham and Kehrer went out. Looking at this, they did make a massive profit the year after we left, which worries me slightly. I don't really want to press this button because I'm scared as to what I might see. Let's do it. Oh wow. Yikes, they've absolutely torn the guts out of the team. I was not expecting that. I thought they would keep. Obviously we brought in a lot of young, really top class young players. We rejected bids for a lot of these young players. Peter Hilton's barely had a chance. I'm honestly really, really shocked. So let's have a look at the guys that they brought in first. They had Alfredo on loan from Atletico. He looks average. Florian Enser from VfL Wolfsburg. He's gone again. He's average. What's going off here? Oh, they made a little bit of a profit on him, but let's just go back to that. He made no appearances for the first team. Okay, so 5.5 million on a guy. This is going well so far. Alessandro D'Alterio, he's still here. Don't look too bad. Valued at 66 million. Not great average ratings. Paid 14.25 million for him. He's had a couple of good. He had a good season in the second team. He's not really done it for the first team with those average ratings, though, has he? Leandro, this were a guy that we'd set up. He's come quite good as a goalkeeper. He's been a bit part player. He's been out on loan. So we brought him in. Then he went out on loan. Had a decent season at Lausanne Sport. Had a fantastic season in second team with an 8.5 over 3 games. Then he's made a couple of appearances for the first team. 1 league game. 3 league games, 2 cup games. Yeah. They're not really giving him a chance yet. Still young though. John Van Beek. He's really poor. He's on to Borussia Mönchengladbach. Paid 7.25, sold him for 23. How did they manage to make that kind of profit on him? Got a 7.07 in his first season. Then in his second season he went out on loan. And then he's been average at Mönchengladbach. It's concerning, these players that they've brought in compared to what we had. And I look at what they've sold. These are not adequate replacements for those over there. Kem Campbell from Wolves. He's now at Augsburg. He is terrible. Paid 3.3, sold him for 6. They're making profit, but these players are nowhere near the standard that we had. Andrei Novotny, again, shocking. He's still at Leipzig. Paid 3.3 million for him. Not really broke into team. He's had 10 games there, 8 games there, 4 games last season. Jakob Poulsen from Copenhagen. He looks decent. 7.25, he's still there. He's had a couple of decent seasons as a centre-back. Which, hold on a minute. Yep, Canati went out on loan. Those crackers. Rodolphe Placil. He's now at Lyon. He actually looks alright. 14.75 bought, sold for 36.5. He's been decent at Lyon. He's a defensive midfielder. I bet they brought him in to replace Florentino Luis. So they've spent 115 million on these bang average players. I mean, this guy cost them 46 million. He's a decent player, but that's a lot of money. He's nowhere near as good as these guys. So let's have a look, see where these are now. Dragovski went to Burnley for 32 million. He's still at Burnley, now valued at 21.5. He's been fairly consistent. No, not quite as good as he was for us, but consistent. So they made a £2 million loss on him. Fabio Silva's gone to Barcelona for 105. He's now at Liverpool. And he looks like he's still absolutely world class. He went to Liverpool for 118. What's that? Oh, including add-ons. Jesus. So, yeah, he went for 105. Banged 21 in 35 games. 22 in 34 games. He's not quite been on the scoring form in the Premier League that he were for us and Barcelona, but he's still knocking in the 7s and 7.5s, so his performances are quite clearly up there. Getting a few assists as well now, which is good. Unbelievable player, that kid. This next one is Florentino Luis, who went to Manchester City for 103. He's still at Manchester City. He's now 29. He's unbelievable. Look at these numbers. And he's again been consistently decent. Good 7s that he's been getting for them. I mean, when you look at his career average rating as a 7.2, to get an average of your whole career at 7.2 when you're 29-year-old, he's obviously been a consistent performer. So Vitor Osiris went out to Copenhagen on loan. He's now at Bournemouth. Right. Looks like he's developing quite well. they sold him to Wolfsburg for 20 million. So they made a little bit of money on him. Wolfsburg sold him to Everton for 20 million. And then he went to Bournemouth for 27. So he's moved about quite a bit. He's not been bad. He's not really hit the heights that I wanted him to. Played well at Copenhagen. 3 goals, 10 assists, 7.2. Who else we lost? Fernando went to Inter for 44 million. That's not a bad sell, actually. I mean, he were only ever really a backup player for us behind Bracalo. So to get 44 million for him, near enough doubled the money. And to be fair, he's been consistently good through his career as well since we bought him. So that's not a bad bit of business, I don't think. But for both Inter and for Leipzig, he's now worth 60 million. He's 30 years old. He's not going to bring that money, but... Peter Hilton, so he went to Borussia Dortmund. He's still at Borussia Dortmund. He's playing for them as well, which is good. Never broke in. I think that was us giving him a chance. Never really got into Leipzig team. They did double the money on him. He's been decent. Top 6s, low 7s. Goal returns not immense, but he's scoring. Maybe he'd have scored more at Leipzig. Not bad. Armel Bella Kotchap went out to Eintracht Frankfurt on loan, and he's now at Watford, and he did not develop very well at all. So they got a loan fee of 950k, then they sold him to Monaco for 11.75 million, which is a good profit on him. So we did bring in players that they've made profit on. They've only sold Drogovski at a loss so far, and even that were only 2 million. Then he moved to Bayern for 16.25, played 1 game, and then he went to Watford for 17.75, where he's played 11 games. Erling Haaland went to Roma on loan. He's now at Roma full time. I bet they must have had a buyout on that. So he's doing well for them. Kind of went off at boil for us. I ended up dropping him this season here, where he's only played 7 games, because the season before he went like 14 matches without scoring. He started off quite well, and then he kind of fizzled out a bit. Did well in his first season at Roma. They obviously deemed it good enough to pay 28.5 million for him, so that's another $1.5 million loss on our players, but they're still massively in front. Ibrahim Konate went out to Napoli on loan, and he's now at Dalian Yifang. I'm surprised they sold him. He was a good defender. It cost nothing, and they've made 48.5 million for him. I can understand why they let him go. And he's fizzled out a bit, hasn't he, really? He consistently good for us. Had a decent season at Napoli, a decent first season at Lyon, slipped a little bit in his second, and then he bang average after that. And they made a massive loss on him when he went to China. Michael Kwame went for 54 million to Bayern. That's not bad either. We bought him for 12. Again, didn't quite hit the heights. We did play him quite regularly for his last couple of seasons after like Poulsen had gone and Haaland had dropped off a little bit. He got into the team a lot more. Played well for us, consistently well for us with his ratings. Went to Bayern, 54 million, average. And then he's gone out on loan to Atalanta. And he went out on loan to Bournemouth. There's not many clubs in this world that could pay £54 million for a player and loan him out twice. It's crackers. And then Karamoko Dembele went on loan to Hoffenheim. He's now at Wolfsburg. He's not developed too well either. Lost him for free, so they made quite a massive loss on him. I'm surprised he went for free. His contract must have run out. So we paid 16 for him. We gave him some games, but obviously the new manager deemed him not good enough. So that's the changes from the first season. Let's have a look what happened in the second. That's when they sold Lazaris and Haaland. Leandro went on loan. Van Beek went out on loan. That's when Konaté was sold. They sold Kem Campbell, who they made a loss on him. Oh no, they made a profit on him, sorry. A little small one, but profit's profit in it. That's when Kochak left. They sold Dupuis. They made 124 million on him, but they've sold Dupuis. Look at the ratings of that player. Jesus Christ. The numbers on him. He is unbelievable. 124 million, and look at this. He's been fantastic for him. He were good for us, but Jesus. He's really, really kicked on. He's developed well. I'm happy with that signing. I think that were a good one. Jakob Poulsen went out on loan, and Matteo Stropper went to Leverkusen on loan. He's still at Leipzig. He looks like he's turned into one of the first choice strikers, and he's developed really well. Also, another one of our top signings. We only paid 25 million for this kid. He's now worth 78. Let's have a look at the guys that they brought in this season. Then they spent 44 million on Eliran Gropper. Looks decent. 73 million now. Came from Red Bull Salzburg. I don't think I'd have paid 44 million for him. Ralph Appel, 8.5. Not great. Went out on loan to Hamburger and Lens. He's not really got into their team yet. He's 23. I don't think he'd probably make it. Wolfgang Ox from Frankfurt. He's gone already. St. Gallen. Went to Bayern. Had a decent profit on him. Bit part player for Bayern. In fact, never actually played for Bayern. He just played for the second team. And then he's gone to St. Gallen on loan. So he's still technically a Bayern player. He's only 19 though, so. And then Santiago Marquez from Celtic. He's alright. Now, I know this looks like I'm being very critical of their signings and going, oh, they're not as good as me, they haven't signed any players. If you disagree, let me know. But so far, I've not seen any players coming in that are anywhere near the standard of the players that they've sold that we brought in. Right, third season without us, and the players going out are players I don't recognise now. So, that's Mathieu Rousset that we brought in. He's still there. He just went out on loan to Hoffenheim. Didn't do too bad. Played alright for the second team. They sold Van Beek. That's a guy that he bought. They sold Ox. Civelli. Look at the money that Civelli's gone. And I'm sorry, I don't see the stats that qualify him for a £120 million transfer fee. Look at what I paid for this guy. Look at what they've sold him for. You cannot tell me I do not know how to find a player. I can spot a regen. Sorry, new gen. I don't see why it was worth 129 million. I mean, his average ratings aren't world class. He's obviously got high potential, but sold Longinus Emeka to Lyon. He's still at Lyon. He's Lyon's first choice keeper, looking at that as well. Been playing well for him. Made an absolutely humongous profit on him as well. I paid 10 grand. 10 grand. And then I started to play him. Made a couple of appearances there. That looks like when I left. After Dragowski had gone, it looks like he turned into Leipzig's first choice keeper. Then they sold him on. I wonder who the first choice keeper is now. We'll have a look at that. That's it out of ours. Dembele went out on loan to Newcastle again. He went out on loan 3 times before they lost him for free. So they brought in Joel Sommers from Bayer Leverkusen. He's 19. I'll give him benefit of doubt on that one. Maybe he can improve. Ludwig Tanner. No, I don't see it. 18. Natal Burgo from Basel. He looks alright. 15.75 million. I'd say that's about right. He's doing looks a decent player. Looking around the sevens, not too bad. And Tobias Roos. Hold on a minute. Isn't he one that I let go? No. I'm sure I had a player, Roos or something, that I let go. But 17, what they paid for him, 3.9 million. He's now worth 1. He's wanted by Schalke. We'll see how long he lasts. Well, we won't, because I'm ending it after this video, but you know what I mean. Right, and this is the 4th season without me. That's when Dembele went to Leicester. Rudolf Plassil, he's one of them that they bought in it after I'd gone. Sold him on. Javier Montero went out on loan to Dortmund. He's back at Leipzig now. Not really broke into the team yet, and he's 30. I don't think he's ever going to. Pulisic, 60 million to Dortmund. Wow, they made a loss on him, but obviously he is 30 as well. He's had a decent career at Leipzig since I signed him for 75. He's back at Dortmund. Dortmund have actually made a loss of 5 million on him and signed him late on his career. It's some strange business. Although they did make 55 because they signed him for free, so fair enough. Who they brought in? Bernard Hammelsberger, youngster. They're not brought in a lot of first teamers. Umut Yesel, he's 20, very determined. Alexei Novoselev, he's got to have been bought as a first teamer at 42 million. He's 20 as a striker. He's doing really well, actually. Good signing, that one. 42.5 million. 15 goals in 20 appearances in his first season, and then 17 in 26 in his second season. Good signing. That's probably the first one I've seen that I've gone, yeah, I would have made that signing myself. Definitely not. Moving on to the last season. Timo Werner's gone for free. Ouch. One thing I have noticed, they've just made 103 million on another one of the youngsters I brought in. We paid 7. He's done well. Right, midfielder. Tonelli's gone for 64. That's another one of my youngsters that's gone out. We paid 35, so they made 30 million on him nearly. He's in his first season at Liverpool. He's done well. That's when Dembele left. Timo Werner for free. 33 years old. Can't complain at getting him for nothing, can you? I mean, he had a cracking career at Leipzig, that's for sure. Who else has gone? Nobody that I brought in there. I sold that Oscar von Bracke. He's from youth. Right, who's come in? Thibaut Dikock from Tottenham, 57 million. Not a bad player. I don't think I'd have paid 57, but he's only 22. I suppose it depends on his potential. Not a bad first season, a 7.2. They paid 20.5 from Man City, who paid 19 from Bruges. Done a lot of moving early in his career. And then a couple from Midtjylland for next to nothing. He's 16. He don't look too bad. And he's also 16. Also doesn't look too bad. So, to summarise, they've sold nearly everybody that I bought. I have noticed Bracalo's not left. They have made a ridiculous amount of money on these players that I brought in. A lot of the youngsters that I brought in for money that the board complained they weren't happy with the finances of, I've gone out for stupidly high fees. So they've 360 million in bank by the looks of things. In fact, I kind of want to take back over to have a look, just see what finances are. Right, so I've put myself back in charge of Leipzig, just to have a look at the finances. Look at the money they've got. They've got a bank balance of 707 million and a transfer budget of 536. The wage budget is £6 million a week. What the fuck? Oh, wow. There's one thing I can definitely say we achieved in this series. We made them financially sustainable. Oh, wow. That's just from the money of the players that they've sold of ours. Yikes. They had 858 million at one point. That's nuts. Next thing. Absolutely insane. I made a profit of 31 million 50. Look at this. That is absolutely mental. Oh well, let's have a look at the competitions then. So what have they won since we left? I think we've done it, boys. I think we've broke the mould. This right here proves that we've succeeded. We left Leipzig. Well, this is where we took over. So that was first season, second, third, fourth, fifth. They've won the Bundesliga 4 years running since we left, and obviously they've got 2 more games left in this season because I come back a little bit earlier. Yeah, they've won it again. So every season since we left, they've got the Pokal Cup final to play in as well. We'll have a look how they've done in that. So yeah, we finished second in our first season, which was a good performance. I'm happy with that. We've won it every year since. That is nuts. We've succeeded. We've made them financially sustainable, like probably one of the richest clubs in the world. And they are now the domestic gods of Germany. FIFA Club World Cup. They finished third in that in 2025. That's a bit disappointing. Who won it that year? Barcelona. Fair play. Let's have a look. Where is it? So they drew with Flamengo. Then they beat Chicago Fire narrowly. Then they beat City 1-0. That's a good result. Obviously Christian Eriksen at PSG. Kai Havertz is there as well. Then they lost to Paris Saint-Germain. Oh, Barcelona just absolutely wrecked Benfica. Fabio Silva, look. So that's where they got knocked out by PSG. Then they beat Benfica in the third place playoff. And Paris Saint-Germain. Oh, look, Silva again. Barcelona beat PSG there. Oh, too far. I'm not going to look at that one yet. Pokal Cup. So we left here. That was a disappointing run for us. So they won it. Semis. Won it. Semis. Won it. Well, they're in it now, in the final. I'll skip forward in a couple of minutes and see how they get along. Let's have a look. Super Cup. So they lost it the first season we gone, but then they've won it ever since. Big question. Have they won the Champions League without us? Bear in mind, this was the trophy that we could never win. We struggled with this trophy. No, they haven't. In fact, the year after we went, they've got knocked out of the group stages. So that was us. We lost to Liverpool. It's nice to see the English club, apart from one season, kind of ended because they just destroyed us every year. It's finished third in the group. Then they lost in the first knockouts. Then they lost in the quarters. Then the knockouts. Then the quarters. It's not done well in Champions League since we left. And they lost in the semi-final of the Europa League the year they got knocked out of the group stage. So they've not done well in Europe without us. That's evident. Let me just fast forward. I know it's getting quite long. There's not a lot left for us to look at. Let's just fast forward now. See if they can win this Pokal Cup. Well, we quickly fast forwarded. Words. They lost. They lost in extra time. But never mind. I'm going to leave that there. If there's anything you'd like to see, drop me a message on bottom of here and I'll come back to it if needs be. If there's plenty that I've not looked at that I probably should have done. I think we can quite honestly say this series was a success. We've broke the mould in Germany. Leipzig are now the dominating force in the domestic leagues of Germany, winning the Bundesliga every year. Made a ridiculous amount of money on the players that we brought in. That's still stunned me on how much some of those players have gone for. So yeah, I think we can call that a success. And next week we'll be moving on to a new series. So thanks everybody for watching this video and also for watching this series. I've really enjoyed making this. Leipzig are a brilliant team to manage. I do encourage anybody that wants to go to the Bundesliga. Leipzig are a great team to play to be at. As you can see, they're great with the young talent. The players at the start of the game that you're given are fantastic, and it's the good foundation of a good team. So it's very easy to build it up and turn it into your own and dominate Germany. Please, like I said, leave a like on the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your notifications to get ready for my new series next week, which is going to be Journeyman.